Hi, this is Eric Schleien. You're listening to the Intelligent Investing Podcast. Today we have on Brian Langis. Brian, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad to be back.
So now for those watching on video, what is in the back? What's behind you?
This is a bullhorn.
Uh-huh.
It's from Texas. I did not hunt it or eat it, but I would have if it was the case. But no, it's from Texas. It was a gift a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I put it in the background. It gives me horns.
Kind of, yeah.
Gives me something. Gives me a presence. But
So,
I'm not near Texas. I'm in Quebec. So
yeah, I was gonna say a
Quebec.
little far, and you didn't hunt that yourself either.
No, it's from a
So
ranch.
from a ranch. Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool looking. What's hanging from those horns?
Uh, well, it looks good, but it's mostly there's a mix. There's some. It's embarrassing. Participation medals, which I don't believe in, but they look good.
It's what metal?
And participation medals.
What is that?
I was just showing up in an event. But no, I have some.
Okay.
This
Participation medals.
yeah. This
Got it.
is
Your accent.
yeah. No, but no, there's some stuff in here. I have this is from a strongman. I used to do strongman competition.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, and yeah, no, there's some here. I won this one. This is a Spartan race, so this doesn't mean anything. And here at third place, yeah, no, a couple, mostly strongman, a couple hockey, and a couple just for showing up somewhere, and they give you that, like the Berkshire 5K race.
Okay.
I've done that one year.
So
You know how they have a 5K race the next
Uh-huh.
day,
Yeah.
Sunday morning. So I've done that once.
Never done that one.
It's fine. It's it's a good way to get you moving on Sunday morning.
And you get a medal, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't win the 5K Berkshire race.
Yeah. Okay.
I showed up and they gave you that, so you can consider it a Berkshire dividend.
Okay. Look, interesting. Yeah. So it's been a while since you've been on.
It's been a while.
What's new? What's new in your world?
Well, I fell into the TikTok black hole.
Oh dear God.
So when you talk about TikTok, it seems to be two camp, like the never TikToker and the TikTok thing.
I mean, I downloaded it twice actually because I just figured
Yeah.
like at least I want to understand what it is. I didn't get it. I just don't understand what it's like. You're making music video. Can you explain TikTok to me? Because I feel like an old man that I can't understand this shit.
Okay,
I didn't get it.
I'm with you on that one. I just turned 36. It's not old, but in digital age, you're like 90. It's like you multiply by 10 every year. It's like a dog, right?
So
By
I guess
times
I'm like
seven.
75 or something.
Yeah. So I came. How's like I downloaded it last week. So what is okay? What is it? It's short-term videos, 15 seconds. It's music. It's dancing. It's all silly. I downloaded the app. It's not for me, but I don't unget it. I get the appeal. I get it. It's fun. It's little videos. They're dumb. They're silly. It's just dancing, singing, whatever. There's other stuff on there too, pranks and whatever.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It doesn't speak to me, but it's important for me to understand these things. And how did I came around this? It's all right. It's in the news every day.
Yeah.
TikTok's in the news. I read a lot of news and it's always there, and mostly because of Trump and the government is after it. They want to ban it. So what happened last week is that the Council on Foreign Investment announced that they're or recommending that TikTok or ByteDance ByteDance, the parent of TikTok, divest of their TikTok U.S. operation. And they're giving it 90 days to ban it. I don't know how the whole thing would work. So now the story is that you got a couple of people talking to ByteDance to buy them. You got Microsoft, Oracle, you got Twitter. Anyway, and then read, and I get fine. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, so I just download it. And this thing is a bottomless pit hole. There's no end. The interface is way better than Instagram. And you could argue Instagram is probably the most successful, best social media app. You know,
Yeah.
right
Brian,
now,
Brian, it
yeah.
sounds like there's like some scratching or something, like something is moving against something else and it's making a little like sound.
Is it better now?
You know what it is? It's the microphone scratching against your collar.
This is just my headphones. The microphone is in the computer.
Okay, every time that wire scratches against your collar, I can hear
Oh, you
it.
hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was coming from.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Sorry. I'll try not to move. Is it okay?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, or I can remove it, see how it goes. But I just don't want the echo.
No, I get it. It's fine now. It's just when it
Okay.
scratches against your collar.
Yeah. Oh, well, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
TikTok. Look, the platform is good. It's a really good platform. You just swipe, 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 swipe. You look up, and you lost an hour. That's what happens. That's what happens.
Okay.
So it's very addicting. It's very sticky, and I'm like, okay. I told my wife Steph, I'm like, hey, I just downloaded it. She rolled her eyes. I'm like, what are you doing? I just want to see what it is. And I also have two young girls. They're not like phone age. They're very young, but I need to know what's coming. I need to know, because TikTok is mostly Gen X, young millennials, very young people. That's their app. It's the equivalent of maybe when I was on Facebook in 2006, right? Nobody got it. Maybe that's what it is now. That's their thing. They're not on Facebook. So where are they? They're on TikTok. And they're spending 80 minutes a day. The average user, 16 to 24. Okay? 16 to 24 spends 80 minutes a day on TikTok. That's what they're doing every day. 80 minutes just swiping.
It's a lot of 15-second videos.
I know. So I had to understand that.
Yeah.
And the algorithm is very powerful. Look, it's a great app. It is. Now I can't see where this is going. Assuming somebody, Microsoft or person X, company X, buys it. I'm reminded of a young YouTube or Twitter, where when YouTube came out, it was just like skateboarders and cat videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Google bought it for like $1 billion or something. And if you look at YouTube now, like the platform has matured. I don't like using the word mature. I don't have a better word, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It has grown.
It's matured. You could say the platform is matured. I think that's appropriate to say.
Well, maybe. Mature for me, it's for like kids, people. But for using it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, YouTube is.
So the platform has evolved. It's become more sophisticated. Yeah.
Right. TV shows, news, funny video, whatever. It's video gaming. Everybody's on that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can see once you got the users, you got the platform, because I know it's 2 billion downloads and 1 billion active users. So it's up there, and it's the fastest platform.
TikTok has 1 billion.
They have 1 billion users, 2 billion download and 1 billion active users.
So that's like a pretty big chunk of the world population using TikTok.
Yeah.
So then clearly it's not just for 12-year-olds.
Well, it's mostly 12. That's the thing. It's all the
billion?
New York Times. I read an article yesterday.
Is there even 1 billion 12-year-olds on the planet? 1 billion? I'd be interested to know what the demographics were for the 1 billion people.
Look up the New York Times article that came out this week. It was TikTok has some kind of age problem. It said that a third of TikTok's users, assuming 1 billion, 800 to 1 billion users, assuming that daily, a third of that would be, let's say, 200 million.
Yeah.
They said that a third's under the age of 14.
How do you even monetize that with?
Well, that's the key. They're probably not profitable right now, but once you get that maturity, all the ads and stuff goes on it, that's when you can monetize your users. But okay, I'll give you a name. This is all new to me. Charlie D'Amelio. Does that mean anything to you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. She's the queen of TikTok.
Okay.
80 million users. And here's the thing. She started August 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Started last year. It's been a year.
Yeah.
So this platform blew up to 1 billion users, and then she's a teenager with 80 million followers, and all she does is releasing this little clip with music. So how do they make money? How does she make money? Now she's what you call an influencer, right?
So she has sponsors and stuff like that.
Right. So these influencers, the way it works now, let's back up a little bit. The problem with the biggest challenge for publishers, for brands today, is targeting young people.
Yeah.
That 16 to 24, these Gen Z, extremely hard to reach. It's frustrating. There's a friction between content and the audience. So there's a thing called in marketing nativity, like native content. For example, there's a company that Warner Music Group bought for 85 million. All they do is memes.
That's all they do.
You want to talk? That's all they do. They bought it for
$85 million meme company. That's
right.
Kind of funny.
And then again, I follow the Black Hole, and I follow their page. They have 16 million users on Instagram. It's memes, short clips, you know the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I didn't know that was a business. I have no clue that you could make money. I didn't get it. And then I read on them, and the whole workforce looks like a college classroom. But yeah, they got sold for 85 million. And their thing is they get hired by Microsoft, Netflix, Electronic Art to create content and distribute it, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, that company made a campaign for Chris Rock when Chris Rock had that Netflix special 2 years ago.
Okay.
Because Chris Rock, you know, when I was in university and before, he was huge, but then I don't know, I kind of drift off. Like I haven't heard of him for a while, and he comes up with a new special. But for the new generation, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
So they do this campaign of like memes, including Chris Rock, blah blah blah. I guess they just try to make them appear attractive, and that his campaign, it was a success. There's 16 million people viewed their memes and videos or whatever they had done. So this car came about Bob because they do this thing they call it, not me, native marketing content.
Okay.
The reason why it works, the whole nativity of it is, how do you explain that? It's like when you speak, friends talk to you. It's no. Let's say, hey Eric, man, you should try out, Starbucks coffee X.
Okay.
You know, there's no filter. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm not trying to pitch you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to convince you.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking your language, right? It connects with people. It's reachable, so they get it. So this whole nativity thing is worth a lot of money. If you have the content, you got the people, it makes a lot of money. So that's where we're going with TikTok. Now, I was saying, Charlie, man, I'm so bad. I haven't wrote down her name. D'Amelio. Charlie,
anyway, yeah, okay.
85 million users. Let's say you got a song, right? I am an artist. Nobody knows who I am. No clue, right? It's hard. So I reach out to her. Probably an agent now, I guess. I reach out to her agent, and I'm like, I have this song. I'll pay you X. Do a video with it. So she agrees. She makes a 15 seconds video with my song. I'm now on the billboard. That's how it works now. So this influencer creates hits. That's how it works now. These top 10, top 5 Instagrammers, TikToker, they decide like what's the next big song is gonna be for that the Lil Nas X, Old Town Road. That was discovered on Twitter and Instagram, all these things, TikTok. It wasn't the normal, hey, let's put a song on the radio. We have a new guy. It's how the system works now, and yeah, it was. I'm still trying to figure it out where it is. I did not delete it from my phone, but it's gonna get canned soon, I think.
Yep.
But but so why is it in the news now? Well, there's a war.
It's gotten political.
Yeah, so TikTok became a pawn in the China USA war.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Um, there's multiple layer to that.
See, I think it's dumb. I just
The
think it's dumb.
China USA war.
I think that's dumb too, but I think the TikTok thing is dumb.
Oh well, yeah. No. I mean, I was
I think
wondering.
Trump knows that TikTok has whatever symbolic meaning it does. It's an easy target to pick on, and it's his way of sort of by sort of a backhanded attack at China in a way that can appeal to the masses. I think it's stupid.
He's in an election soon,
Yeah.
and his attack on China is the only thing that seems to be working with the public. He's getting positive feedback from there. I mean, calling out China is the right move. The way he goes about it, totally different. Blasting people on Twitter and whatever. But China had to be called out. They haven't been a great world citizen, if you can use that term.
Okay.
They still tech property.
But his whole thing was, I mean, sure there's that, but I mean the big thing was like on trade
trade,
and then manipulating the
tech,
currency.
space. China had a 2025 plan, which was supposed to make China like the king of the world, and they have very, very imperialistic ambitions. I mean, here's what I would do. I mean, they're both playing games here, and TikTok is a pawn in it. It's hard to know what they're saying. It's a data problem. Okay, fine. If you use that idea, this trend, but all the apps collect so much data on you, right? They have access to everything: your phone, your OS, what you do, where do you go, your keystroke pattern, rhythm, your clip and paste board. They have access to all that. So you agree to that when you download the app and you click I accept. So there's
some legalities on whether you're actually agreeing to that or not. Some people would make a different argument to you.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So you're just walking on. So TikTok is actually, you could make an argument that they're more transparent than all the other apps because they got, the guns pointing at them.
Yeah.
And the guy running it is a former CEO, Disney executive. He's the CEO of TikTok now. And he's saying, man, we're so much more transparent than all the other guys. And there's issues. I mean, if you dig into it, there are issues. They're not perfect. I'm not saying they are. They're not perfect. The main question here is, can you weaponize the data and use it against a nation? What if China turns around and says, hey, we need data. We need this, because they have a whole intelligence machine working. Yeah. So the main question is, could the Chinese government compel TikTok to hand over data? And what would they do with it? And then, now you follow the train of thought. Well, they are censoring content on TikTok, right? Anything that's bad for China, they censor it. Anything that's Tibet related or the Tiananmen massacre, they are
that's
censoring it.
That's almost disappeared from the mainland.
Yeah, right. And what if they use the data to influence election? We have seen that, right, with Facebook. What they're using data to change the public court, to change public opinion. So there's many layers to this. But yeah, the whole TikTok thing sounds ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, Microsoft has the cash to buy it. I don't know. They're mostly business to business. I know they have consumer, like the Xbox. But they guess they want to mine the data and monetize it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about Reels, Instagram Reels?
So I just found out about that lately.
Well, it's pretty new.
It is. It's their clone. It's your TikTok clone.
Except the difference is you have a significantly wider platform.
You mean people? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, the platform, right? Because you have Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Instagram Reels. Now you're tapping into all of Instagram.
So it's a very, very Facebook move to copy somebody else thing that works. Facebook
Well,
copied.
it's copying something else that works and then putting an
Yeah.
entire a scalable
Yeah.
platform to it.
I don't know a lot about Reel. From what I read, it
See,
sucks. From what I read.
really? See, from what I've read, it's better.
Really? Well, maybe go.
But
Who
I
knows?
don't. Guys, I'm an idiot when it comes to this. So don't
Yeah.
take me as the authority on what's better if TikTok or Reels is better because I'm a dumbass when when it comes to understanding this stuff. But
No,
I do think though, if you just look at Facebook's track record, they have a pretty good track record and doing things better than other people, and then being able to scale it with their platform. Like if I was TikTok, I would be worried about Reels.
maybe. Maybe, yeah. If they do it right and it
I mean,
grabs
think
on.
about it. Think about it. You're an influencer, right? Just an example, right? You're an influencer, and I'm gonna sell you. I'm talking about some song or I'm talking about some product, right? And I have my little 15-second clip, and now a little thing in the upper right-hand corner comes up for like the Instagram marketplace where I can just click and buy something.
Yep.
Right? You could start to see, or how many of your friends also like, this thing. I don't know if it was you I was talking about this too, or someone else on the show, but the only ads that I've ever actually bought something online from, I've made maybe 2 or 3 purchases from Instagram from an ad that I saw. That's how good they are at targeting.
They're very good.
Like literally, there'll be something that shows up, and I'm like, I didn't even know that I needed that, but now that I see it, I need that. Which I don't do ever, and I've done that 2 or 3 times on Instagram. So could you imagine someone doing something like that on Reels, and the Reels video gets targeted to you, and now it's, this is cool, and it's a different way of marketing. I could see that being the future.
I mean, Facebook
where TikTok just isn't as sophisticated with that, at least to my knowledge.
So let's say you have a daily billion user on each app. Of course, Instagram is going to throw everything they got. It's a growth platform of Facebook. What I'm afraid of is that Facebook. I mean, I go to Facebook, occasionally, and it's so cluttered. It's just what happened, what they do.
But that's Facebook. That's not all of Facebook. Right?
But their influence is now. You see on Instagram now, they're adding and adding and adding and adding. And it's like, give it another year or two, and you want a story, you want this, you want that. It's like.
See, I like Instagram. I get value from Instagram. That I do use. Where at the beginning, actually, I thought Instagram was stupid. I remember when Instagram came out, even before they owned Facebook, and I'm like, why would I use a thing where you just post photos? That's stupid. That's dumb.
It took me a while. It takes me a while to figure out these things too. It takes me a while.
But also sometimes there isn't really a reason at the beginning to use it, right? Like when the you could say there's this evolution of platforms, right? So look at or like YouTube, right? As you said, like at the beginning it was like cat videos and stuff, right? So like I used it for like maybe a few seconds of entertainment, but I wasn't using it the way that I do now because there's different content. I listen to. There are videos that I listen to in interviews and stuff that is on YouTube that I find very valuable. I do find, for instance, on what's another platform? I mean, right? I mean, here's another one, right? MySpace, no one uses anymore, so there's no need to be on that platform, right? Like you and I.
Network effect is important.
It's everything.
It is.
And it impacts the way that you're going to use those particular platforms. So Twitter is a great example, right? Like even like 2 years ago, I remember being like, why would I use Twitter? And I remember when it first came out, I thought it was the dumbest thing. And I still think most of Twitter is pretty stupid. It's very toxic. I mean, it's extremely toxic.
Vicious.
But for instance, I find when it comes to the I was just talking about this with I had Shayna Sissel on the show, who is the CIO of spotlight, and she was saying, like she found her job through the FinTwit community, and I found her to come on to the show through the FinTwit community. And if it wasn't for FinTwit, I would not really use Twitter. I mean, I might have an account and look it on occasion, but I get a lot of valuable information, and I share a lot of, at least what I think is value to other people, through that financial Twitter community, where it's not nearly as toxic. And actually, it's kind of awesome as compared to some, other, people just attacking Donald Trump and going back and forth, and it's vicious. So, but a few years ago, before the community came out, right, that wasn't there. So I didn't have as much reason to use Twitter. So the platform evolution starts attracting different kinds of people. So I don't use Reels right now, but who's to say I'll listen to this interview in a few years and we'll be like, oh, we all use Reels. That's, just the way we talk about Instagram.
Yeah. I will make a point that
go ahead.
TikTok brings joy and Instagram causes depression. Instagram, you go to 300 pictures of people singing that their life is better. And then you turn out the phone, you're like, oh my God, my life's shit.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok might be the first platform where it's all joy. It's just music and dancing and stupid videos. It's maybe when you close the app, you're like, that's fun. But yeah, I mean, it's not just Instagram. It's just this whole social media thing. I mean, it's a Twitter and the internet. It's brutal.
Instagram had talked about getting rid of the likes, the like button.
Oh yeah,
but they said they were going to do that. It never happened.
Isn't that like the whole addictive feature?
Right. What they said was that it I think there have been a lot of studies actually on showing how like people get depressed like looking at this stuff because you end up thinking you're in this like distorted reality that you think everyone's life is better than yours because most people just quite frankly aren't being like, wow, I feel like shit today. Wow. I feel like my life sucks today. Like people aren't really posting about that as much as blah 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 hashtag blessed hashtag grateful, And here's me on the beach with makeup on and Photoshop.
Yeah.
I have my 900 likes, and then I feel like, oh, I got 3 likes on my photo, so clearly I'm inferior. People actually have that psyche, so they were trying to remove some of that. But as you said, I mean, that's a lot of the addictive feature of the influencers wanting their 10,000, people liking their photos and stuff like that. So maybe that's why it just didn't happen. They were like, well, that doesn't seem like a good financial proposition, so we're going to scrap that. Yeah, there's so much, Brian. There's so much. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, I wonder if people are catching on to like, it's all BS. I wonder.
No, they are. I mean, look, just how we're having this conversation right now. We're not the only people in the world having this conversation. There is a book. I don't remember the name of the book, and it's sort of a look under the hood on why social media is so addictive and how they get you to be addicted to it and like the dopamine hits that happen. So I think at some point there's going to be more ethical grounds, and as this stuff starts getting studied more and we start seeing how this is influencing our psychology, I would imagine there's going to be some kind of ethical framework that comes. I think we're in the very, very, very early stages of that happening. People are talking about it, and and especially if it becomes more and more well known, and now you're a company that looks at, hey, we're going to intentionally hurt your own psychology. I don't think long term that's beneficial. Both from a humanitarian standpoint, but also as a reputational standpoint from a company. If you now have the reputation of you're fucking with people's psychology, I think you would lose people.
Well, for sure. I think
over
that's
time.
The hate on Facebook, right? The hate is, look, at first, okay, we get targeted ads, right? We get targeted ads. That's fine. You get so much info on me. You know what I want. You know what I like. You know me better than I myself.
Yeah.
And then I think where you lose people is when they feel you manipulate them. You have my data, but now you're manipulating me into clicking or clickbait and into buying and into content. Like, let's say I'm a Greenpeace guy, right? Let's say
Mm-hmm.
I love the environment, and Facebook knows that, and all you're throwing at me is people that love pipelines and oil, right? And now I have to like go write some comment. I hate you, and they're like, nah, you're a tree hugger, and now I'm engaged, and now it's just this back and forth, and they kind of want that, right? They want you to engage.
No, they do
They
that. I
want
mean,
you.
there was a whole thing of how there would be these internal conflicts that as long as it kept people engaged, then that was good for the platform. And if
Yeah, there we go.
you hear stories in the Facebook culture of some developer saying, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. This is gonna harm people. Well, it's increasing engagement, so we're gonna ignore that. So that's starting to come out. Some of those tensions.
Yeah, well, it's a big debate, and who is to say what content you put on? Like, what is good content? What is bad content? Who decides? Who decides that?
Right.
Mark
I
Zuckerberg?
guess the
You know what I mean?
right. It's like if me and you were putting out content, that's great. But I think when you're being manipulated, with data algorithms, and you don't really understand to the extent that your psychology is being fucked with. I mean, the fact that you can take data to literally impact your dopamine hits looking at things. I mean, it's kind of fucked when you think about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with billions of dollars, these companies can actually figure out what's gonna give you that same addiction to get the next dopamine hit and the next dopamine hit and the next dopamine hit. And as human beings, we're all fallible to that.
It's gonna be interesting to see like, in the next couple of years where this is going, because people are waking up to this.
Yeah.
They've seen what happened in 2016. Okay. And then what it does to themselves, we see it on Instagram, people's behavior.
Yeah, because big data in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, I think big data is a really wonderful thing on the surface, right? I mean, the fact that we can understand and learn so much about ourselves through the use of data, you can use it for a lot of good too. I mean, there was a book I read that was all about how Google searches are being able to help understand how understand humanity, in a different way, and we can find these like, so for instance, right, you can now detect pancreatic cancer risk through Google searches. That there are certain things people search for where if they search for these specific things, they're at a higher risk of pancreatic cancer. Like, it's unbelievable that you can actually now for flu season, you can track flu better than a government can track flu through Google searches because of what people are searching for symptoms.
I read something like that recently about the whole COVID thing and the Google searches, and they had the tables and the numbers, and they were saying, you could see that thing coming, like what people searched before, during, and after, and they show like the curves, and they were using this as, the whole article is I think it was in The Economist. It's better. It's like a new gauge for measuring the economy instead of GDP, which is, you have to go back like 3 months.
Yeah,
and revise the whole.
You get
thing.
a more real time look at things.
That's right. So they're just getting, you're putting your finger on the pulse. So it's like, all right, this is what's going on right now. With traveling and food and restaurant search and toilet paper and they know on real time what's up. And when you take all these indicators, you can form a picture of like, this is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Or to track people's feelings and all these things. But yeah, there is a topic there that you can take. And let me ask you a question. So we start with TikTok. Who are you gonna bet? Who do you think is gonna buy TikTok? Or is it gonna get shut down? So A, Microsoft, B, Twitter, C, Oracle, D, it gets banned.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get banned. I have a hard time seeing that. So I'll say I don't think it's gonna get banned, but I can't tell you what I have no idea.
No. Microsoft has the cash.
They
Twitter
do.
doesn't, but they have good partners with money. And it was the only Oracle. I don't know what Oracle is doing in there. They're not a consumer business.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, why would Oracle? It seems like a weird fit.
So that came out in the news yesterday or today that they're having discussion. It came out in the Financial Times, and not to dig into it, Larry Ellison is a Trump supporter, and he had fundraiser for Trump, and then Trump was like, "Yeah, he should do it. I'm supporting Oracle." He was saying like they were asking him, and he's like, Larry Ellison, terrific guy, he's the best, and he should buy. I'm backing him to buy. Tech. I don't know.
Okay, that's odd. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think it's gonna be Oracle.
It's a weird. It's just a weird. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
a weird fit. I don't know. They would have to. They don't. They have some debt. It's a good company. Oracle's a great company, but I don't know how that fits. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not that much of an expert. So I guess I'm putting my money on Microsoft.
So you're gonna
Microsoft-
take the sort of mainstream bet with that guy. I feel like that's the mainstream consensus is Microsoft is the natural bidder for that.
I think you say a fit. I don't know if it's a good fit, but look, Microsoft product does not make people depressed. Maybe Excel. But,
I was gonna say, have you used any of the Office suites? Have you seen the blue screen of death with Windows before?
Yeah. And they bought Lincoln. Remember that? They bought Lincoln. Now it's a different animal, but
Hold on, did you ever use a Zune? The Microsoft Zune, which was like the precursor to the iPod.
Yeah. Look, this is the Balmer era.
Yeah,
that's
that all made me very depressed.
yeah. Okay. They
Windows
had
Media Player.
Ooh.
Do you remember how horrible that thing was?
Windows 8.
This is before Windows 8.
Yeah. No, Windows 8 was terrible.
I'll never use Windows 8.
Yeah.
I stopped using Windows. I think it was Windows X. What was it? Windows XP, then Windows 7. I stopped using Windows at Windows 7. Like I never learned how to use Windows 7.
Windows 7 was good.
Yeah, I never used it.
8.
I think I used it like twice in my entire life. Like I became a Mac person in high school and I just stopped.
Windows 7 was just like the other ones. It was just a continuity of
No, it wasn't.
XP.
No, Windows 7 was the wasn't that when they started putting like the weird boxes like they have today?
That's 8. That's 8.
8. Okay.
8
maybe
came
I
out.
stopped
It looks
using
like
it.
somebody puked on the screen, and they yeah.
Someone peeked on the screen.
Yeah, no, it was really, really bad. And my wife had on a computer, and I constantly, I'm like, oh, I know computers, and I went on, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what they did to it. Because now people grew up with Windows. They know how to use it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
all
there was,
familiar.
when I first started using Windows, it was Windows 3.1.
Yeah.
Which was like, almost looked like,
Yeah, interface.
yeah, it had an interface, right? And then Windows 95 was like a really big upgrade. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like it has there's a start
That was
menu,
huge. Yeah.
and then what was it then? Windows 90.
98.
Well, there was
Millennium.
actually there was a Windows 97, which I don't know what that.
NC.
There was NT. Well, there was I think it was 95, 97, 98. Then there was Windows 2000. You remember that?
The millennial one, yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't the same, but apparently it was kind of buggy. Windows NT, which I think was for like networking.
XP.
Then there was XP, and
yeah.
XP was like the first sort of like more modern upgrade.
It was good.
Yeah, I mean it was like the first because 95 to 2000 kind of all looked the same, and then XP was the first like seemed different. And so you're saying Windows 8 was the Windows 7 still look like XP?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, you didn't really need 7. I don't know why. They just came
so
out.
I
They
kind of
just
stopped. I mean, yeah, it was Windows XP was the last OS I used by Microsoft before I became a Mac guy.
Yeah. They skipped 9. They didn't have 1. And then 10 is what I have now, which is it's like they went back to Windows 7, really.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
10 is fine. I have it. It's great. It's what I'm using all the time.
Huh.
And now they're stopped. They just they're doing like Google and Apple. They're just updating it,
Yeah.
over the air type of thing. It's just they don't sell them anymore. I mean, you have to buy 10, but once you have it, you have
Yeah.
it forever, and they're gonna keep updating that. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it never crashed. I never had a problem with it.
That's good. They fixed that. Did they rebuild it like from the ground up? Do you know? Because that was always the thing with Microsoft is it was like you'd always get like freezing and blue screens and.
No, not anymore.
Oh,
That's all true.
oh, okay. Good to
Yeah,
know.
never. It's stable. It works fine. It's fast.
Yeah, I've been so out of that world for so long.
They've been trying to include their own AI, like speech recognition thing, which is a total fail. I think they removed it. I'm not sure.
Mm.
I never used it.
It's weird
But
when you
they're
don't use like
trying
a
to push it on you.
okay.
But they never worked.
Yeah, it's weird when you use when you like haven't used the technology for so long, and then you come back. I got a new car last year. I got a Subaru Forester Sport. It's
That's a good car.
2019. It's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had not gotten a new car in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So I had an Acura TSX before that, and I go into this car, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you can test drive it." He kind of like was very hands off with me. He's like, "Yeah, you can just take it out for a drive. I'll be inside. You can do what you want." I get in the car. I can't figure out how to fucking turn on the thing. Like, there's like the button, but I don't realize you have to press the brake pedal while I'm pressing the button.
Yeah.
I've never actually had used one before.
Yeah.
And I walk back inside. I'm like, I don't know how to turn on the car, which just was funny because that's how every car is now.
Yeah. They
But
don't
I
have
hadn't.
keys.
But I hadn't been in the car market that long, and so why would I know? Yeah.
Yeah. Since you went shopping, what do you think of Carvana and these similar, buy over the counter, buy online? Because the €1,000,000 in Jason wants nothing to do with the traditional
Yeah.
buying.
I mean, so the way
Buying cars.
I'm a freak, and I didn't do it. I used so what I did. I'll tell you what I did first. I took a spreadsheet and I called about 50 different places, all in like a 20-mile vicinity, and I found out maybe like the 10 cheapest places for the car I wanted. And then what I would do, I went into the my local dealership, and the goal was still to get it locally. So I go to my local dealer, and I said, there's another place, 10 miles down the road, and they're going to offer this price to me. And he goes, okay, let me talk to my boss. He comes back, gives me a lower price. So then, of course, I go, excuse me one second. I call, 4 or 5 other places, and I say, this is my current rate. I'd really, really like to be able to work with you. And I would just tell every single car dealer, I'd rather work with you guys. What can you do for me? And then they'll throw in a bunch of stuff. So I'm doing this for a few hours at this point. It was a several-hour negotiation.
Now you're having fun. You just want to see.
Yeah, but I will tell you,
how low can you go?
the guy told me after that he ended up making $50 on the entire deal, and I had a friend who worked at a Subaru dealership, and I asked her about it. I was like, so I got a Forester for this price, and she's like, Eric, I've worked at Subaru for like several years. I've never seen a Forester go for that price before. That's like, you probably got it like to a point where no one's getting it. So that was my process. But I did look at Carvana, and I did look at a few of these other like online things. I mean, I think they're pretty good in general. I mean, for the average person, you could still get a pretty good deal. And if anything, it was really nice to kind of get an unfiltered view of what the used car market was like. It gave me a little sense of, what I mean, that's actually why I decided to get a new Forester, because I was looking at like some 2018s, 2017s, where it's an older body. The 2019, there was a big upgrade to the Forester, and it was only a few $1,000s more because the Foresters held up in price. So I could actually see in real time how cars were depreciating, and you get past all like the bureaucratic bullshit and like just like the corporate, this is going to hold up in price, and but I think it creates a lot more transparency. So I think generally it's a good thing. I think that's probably the future is more online stuff, real time markets.
Yeah, and
I don't know. What are your thoughts about it?
When no, you're right. There's a lot more transparency. I see it because in business valuation we have to work with these things, and car dealerships now don't make a lot of money on the car itself. The car, the commodity, because like you said, you go online and shop,
Which is
compare.
why, by the way, that little pro tip. This is why I would say I'd really like to buy it from you. And then
Yeah,
with my local dealership, see, I already knew my local dealership. I would get it the cheapest from them because they knew I lived local. And if they know you live local, they know you are more likely to go in for repairs at their shop, which is
well,
where the
that's
money
it.
is.
That's the thing, right? It's a
So I always
service.
tell people if you want to buy a car, try to do it local, get price comparisons, and let them know that you live close, and let them know that you'd like them to be the place that you get service, because they're going to be
Yeah.
so much more significantly um, motivated to match any. If they can match you at a place that's 50 miles away, and then throw in a $500 worth of shit, they're
Hmm.
willing to do that. So what? They don't make any money from that, but then you have a customer for life where you do repairs and maintenance.
It's the razor model, right? We'll give you
Yeah,
the razor, and you're stuck behind the
it's
blade.
exactly what it is. Yeah,
So yeah, the come on. I mean, it used to be back in the days you make money off the car. Now you don't, or barely any.
yeah.
But now they're trying to keep a customer. You're gonna go in for service. You're gonna need financing. They make money off the financing. Oh, you're gonna need insurance. Maybe to make off that. So the financial side of it, they get a cut. Do you know warranty? Oh, another cut. And do you need? Where'd they get you? They get you the finance, the warranty.
You know what's a big scam
Uh,
too that they can get you into is they'll offer you these like added services, and I think it's scammy because if you know
yeah.
anything about cars, you can, like, for instance, they wanted to offer me this like spill proof protection for the back seats for like $700.
Oh,
Which I know you say that, but think about it, right? It's like everyone has spilled something on their seat, especially if kids or whatever. So it might be like, oh well, that's gonna save me from having to do like a $200 like deep clean several times, whatever. But like you can get that shit pretty cheaply, if you just get it done yourself. Like,
yeah.
and
You
those
can find a
warranties,
third
even
party.
those warranties are kind of bullshit most of the time too. Like they sound really good, and then they don't include a bunch of stuff. I mean, I looked at the warranties they gave me, and at first it sounds good, but then you read the fine print, and it was like, okay, that's not really worth my time to do.
Here's the thing: warranties. A lot of people don't. You can negotiate them. They're negotiable.
Yeah,
It's not a flat fee, and but they're expensive because I
they're
I
really.
had
I
a
mean, they're
truck.
really really expensive. Yeah, I don't think they are worth it most of the time, to be honest.
Well, it's kind of funny because if they say you need it,
Well, of
you're
course
kind
they
of
say
saying,
of course they're gonna say you
you
need it
know,
because it's free money
well,
for them.
aren't you saying, yeah, your truck's gonna run into issues, your car's gonna run into issues? Aren't it's like
It's like
how
when
reliable
you
your
go to
car is.
Best Buy and you
Yeah.
buy like a microwave and they want to, give you like or not a microwave, like that you buy a buy a microwave at Best Buy.
Yeah, when I go buy my microwave at Best Buy,
Yeah.
I mean, you buy a printer.
When you buy a
Yeah,
printer and then they want to charge you another $50 for like a warranty. It's like I
yeah,
don't need a fucking warranty on my printer.
yeah.
So every those warranty things are so scammy.
Hey, it's 100% profit margin.
Yeah. Well, the cell phone warranties. Do you know how they make money on those? Or at least they used to. So this is before Apple Care and all this stuff. Like Verizon would charge you like, and I think they probably still do it, where it's like
Well, per month, right?
yeah, it would be like ten
Yeah,
dollars a month, whatever.
yeah,
The thing is though, is that if you have an issue with your phone, the way they make money is because at some point people tend to have some issue, or at least they used to. I mean, at some point you
yeah,
would have an issue, or you would break your phone, right? You would drop it, whatever.
yeah.
The amount of people that would not actually cash in their warranty was really really high.
Huh.
Right? Like they would just get a new phone.
Yeah.
So they made money on people paying for a warranty they would never actually use, even if they could use it. It was weird.
Well, that's what they're trying to, yeah, it's easy. If you get so many people paying $10 a month,
Yeah.
how many claims are you dealing with, right? And I'm sure, there's like little fine prints are like, nope.
Yep.
It went in the water. You can't do that.
Well, yeah, water damage won't get it covered.
Yeah, but I think people, if you look at a life cycle of a phone, what is it, 2-3 years, like maybe.
They go a little. You can go a little longer now. I mean, I like my iPhone. Like I've had my iPhone for probably 3 years. It still works fine.
Oh yeah, they got better because they weren't.
Well, no, the older ones didn't last as long. And I mean, you can't, and you also couldn't use them after a certain period. Like I can't use an iPhone 4. Like it just won't work.
Well, there was this thing too. I don't have a lot of Apple products, but I used to have an iPad where I remember. Oh, that's what I did. I bought an iPad 2 when it came out.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, it's so awesome. And after a year and a half, they kept updating the iOS and the apps that goes on it. It was not like functioning. It was like, it aged so fast. Now it's probably not the case anymore. I'm sure they live longer. But at that time, when I got the iPad 2, and the apps I was downloading, they were like, yeah, not compatible with iPad 1. So, and right away, it took maybe 2 years. They're like, yeah, there's nothing you can put on this thing. We have the new iPad, blah, 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 blah. But like the life cycle of the apps too, as soon as there's a new phone or a new iPad with better hardware, they move on to that because they can do so much more, and you're left behind, holding his iPad.
So I like things where they can adjust for the upgrades. Now I know. Like for instance, we've talked about Tesla before, right? But those cars, right? Like the way Elon Musk is doing it, is he's done it so like he wants you to be able to have that car for a long time, and then as new technology, happens, you can literally just download it into the car, and that's his. And I personally think that having that way of doing customer service is probably better because you're not if someone's willing to pay more upfront for a car if they know they can have it for 15 years.
It's a very Apple way of doing things. We'll sell you the hardware and we'll take care of the iOS and the software and everything for you, right? I think that's what he's doing. Except his thing is that more complicated than building a phone? Probably. I mean, you have to bend metal and everything. But
I mean, cars seem kind of complicated to build too.
Yeah,
especially what he's doing.
Yeah, it's every year. I know we had this Tesla conversation. Every year, I keep hearing about here comes the Tesla killer. Here comes the Tesla killer. All the time.
The what? And here comes the what?
The Tesla killer, right? Everybody's coming out of EV cars.
Oh, so the Tesla killer.
The Tesla killer, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a French thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like what's a Tesla killer? I don't know what that means.
Okay, that was a disappointment. And then.
Hey, Brian, you're breaking up.
That'd be good. Brookfield property.
Yeah. All right, a little technical glitch there. So we were talking about Elon Musk and Tesla.
Well, it's funny. We just had a conversation about Microsoft, how good their products is, and we just have a major crash. Skype is Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. So that first Microsoft crash I had in a long time. But yeah, we're talking about Elon Musk and his cars and. And I was saying that it's a very Apple way. Apple locks you in their
ecosystem,
in their wall. They lock you in. Tesla is probably going the same way. And I read online that they go after people that try to tweak the cars. If you try to tweak the software or anything like that, they go after you. Like they don't want you to do that.
Okay.
Because when you buy a car, that you can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
But Tesla is very, very protective. And they're using the
Apple under Steve Jobs was like that too, where they would make it very, very difficult to modify their computers.
Well, they're at war with Epic. I don't know if you read that in the news this week. Fortnite. Okay, you know Fortnite?
Yeah.
So the maker of Fortnite, Epic Games, I think it's just Epic something. They're the guys behind the Unreal Engine that makes all the big video games,
Yep.
and Fortnite. And then Fortnite, it's not the first time he tries to do this. They tried to bypass Apple Store, Apple Play, no, Google
Oh,
Play, and Apple
I
Store.
did hear about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so they tried to bypass it. So the way it works, I'm sure you listen, but everything you buy on Apple, well, through the phone anyway, they get a 30% cut. I think the only company that does not is Starbucks. That's the only. I think it's the only company that has an exception. But Epic, Fortnite, let's just say Fortnite, is trying to get like a waiver or something, or to reduce the cost. And then Apple disagreed, and then they included like a alternative payment system in their game. And then they went to war, and then Apple kicked them out, and then Google too. Android's a little different. They allowed that wheel, that spinning wheel, showed up.
Okay.
I'm like, that's not good.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
so we're back.
are we recording
again.
right now?
We're recording.
Oh, we're recording. Okay, hey, Wolf.
Having some issues with your Skype today, huh?
Yeah. So this Apple and
Speaking of
Epic
Microsoft reliability,
I know. Yeah, they're probably listening. They're listening to everything. So yeah, fix Skype. But Apple and Epic. It'd be interesting if Epic can dent that fight, because a lot of companies are complaining to Apple that 30% is too much. And then Apple replies like, "Hey, look, we provide the device, we provide the consumer, we provide the iOS, we provide security. That's how much it costs."
Yeah.
So, now you got this fight, back and forth. And Epic tried a couple of years ago. They folded. Now they're trying again. I guess they're bigger and stronger now. And it's almost like they knew, like everything, all the steps were kind of pre-calculated, because they knew that Apple was going to kick them out. So they released a video, from 1984, the book, and everybody's moved since. It's like a chess game, but the 10 first moves.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the lawsuit was pre-written, and they're just like, release. So they have until August 31st, because Apple is going to remove all their tools for developers and try to kill Fortnite. So right now it's who has the biggest megaphone. But it's going to be very, very interesting if they can take a crack at that, because Apple's biggest fear. Now, they sell you the phone as a commodity. It's a good phone. But Apple's biggest fear, which I should mention just passed $2 trillion cap today, is what if you have a super... Damn, I went.
What?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, we're back. We're back. Crazy
Sorry,
technical
Walt.
difficulties. Okay.
Just blame it on Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll just wrap this off. I was saying Apple's biggest fear was that you have an app, a super app like WeChat, that comes out, and then you get everything inside, your payment, and the money, and all that stuff, and it's not controlled through them. So any dent to the system, anything that could be a threat to their ecosystem, let's say, and could just turn Apple into another commodity phone, and just download this one super app, and you bypass the Apple ecosystem, like we have in China. It's probably what they fear the most. And Epic is making a statement, like they released Fortnite, and then the direct payment inside was like, do you want to pay with Apple? It was like $9.99. Or do you want to pay with us? And it's like $7.99. Just to get the user on the bandwagon here.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's to follow. This tech war, like TikTok and Apple and Epic and all these things. I'm looking forward to see where it leads.
It'll be interesting. We'll probably play. I'm sure it's gonna play out for many years. This stuff.
Yeah, and funny comment on Apple. I remember it's 2 years ago they were worth $1 trillion. That was the first company to hit $1 trillion market cap. Now it's two. Exactly. I'm just like 2 years and a couple days. And I remember, I'm like, how's it gonna double again? Like when they hit $1 trillion, you're like, no way, it doubled. How do you get bigger? And then that's a $2 trillion. But do you think it can go from $2 trillion to $4 trillion? Like how? How? Like, how does it go? How does it double again? Like,
Well,
it's
you look at something like Amazon, right? And you would never have been able to see what Amazon became today when they were just a bookstore. And now they're doing Prime and
nope,
all of these other, and Alexa and all these things. So,
nope.
there's lots of things that Apple could do in terms of, maybe an Apple car, maybe stuff with medical devices. I mean, there's so many other things that could be added to the Apple ecosystem over time. You don't know. So yeah, sure, it could double again.
Well, these companies, the big four or five, right? The Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, they're breaking the law of nature in the sense the bigger they get, the faster they grow, which is awkward. It's it's a whole network thing. Amazon, how much Amazon grew this year? It's what 1.7 trillion. Like it's how much longer can you keep that up? And sure, cloud is the growth of Microsoft and Amazon and Google.
Well, look, this was the original dream of in the '90s when they said everything's gonna get connected and the internet and there's all this growth. I mean, this was the original dream. It's just in the '90s you had a lot of companies that weren't making money and had faulty business models, and it's taken a few decades. But it's not like Google's not sustainable. I mean, they really have something valuable they offer, and as they get bigger, they get better data, which then creates a better search experience for the user, and that's an upward cycle. So, not to say that there won't be new competitors that come in and new competition, but it's a different game, and it's a game you weren't able to play 20, 30, or 30, 40 years ago.
Absolutely. So am I going to see you on TikTok soon?
No.
Never TikToker?
Well, you never say never, because I also was never Instagram and then started doing Instagram like 5-6 years ago. So you never know. But
well, here's the thing, right? Once the I'm just going to call myself a dinosaur here because it's just what it is in digital life. But once like let's say I adopt it, right? Oh, I'm on TikTok now. The young generation is like moving away. It's like, oh my God, my uncle's on it. I'm getting out.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a reason to use TikTok, I don't have a reason to. I don't have an interest in seeing someone do a 15-second video. Like, does nothing for me.
You're not a 14-year-old girl.
That's true. So I'm saying, if the platform ever changed in a way where I'd have a reason to use TikTok, then sure, I'd be open to it. But there's nothing that it offers to me right now. Like the only, occasionally there's an entertaining TikTok and I can just see someone post it on Facebook. That's how I get, the only TikToks I watch are on Facebook. Yeah.
Well,
or on YouTube or something,
A feeling I got when I checked out TikTok last week, I'm like, that's the new MTV. Remember MTV? Like,
of course I remember
when I was
MTV.
Young, MTV was like, there's nothing more cool.
I used to watch TRL with Carson Daly after school every single day.
Anything that was cool, it went through MTV. Like they had so much influence. It was the hottest thing ever. And maybe TikTok is that because my parents did not watch MTV, but they probably like, what the hell are they watching all the time? And they're like, oh, that's MTV. I get it, but it's not for me. And TikTok's kind of that for me. Like, oh, okay. It's funny, but it's not for me. But I see like I can see that the whole thing. I get it.
I can get it from that angle, sure.
It's whatever happened in TV, it's a disaster. But
anyway, to be responsible for the time. I know you have some other obligations.
They're upstairs.
So let's wrap it up. But it was a good discussion like always, and it's interesting to see where things are gonna develop and play out here.
For sure. Yeah. We'll do a podcast on TikTok one day.
Yeah, and Brian, if anyone wants to just plug yourself, you have a blog. If people want to contact you, what's the best way to reach you?
You can find me brianlangis.com. If you type in Brian Langis in Google, I'm there. Twitter, I think it's _Brian. I'm never sure. I think that's what it is. What else?
I'll put it all in the show notes for you.
Yeah, I'm easy to find.
Cool. All right, man. Well, have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
You got it, man. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.